So quantum stocks have sold out a pretty significant deal after the quantum market is cooling off due to the news that came out from Trump signing two executive orders on Monday. And investors piled into names like QBTS, INFQ, Riggedy, and other quantum names as well, even the smaller ones. SEALSQ, a smaller company like SEALSQ even benefited, if I'm not mistaken. But now that the excitement has cooled off, some of these stocks have already given back a portion of their gains, and many investors are going to be asking the same questions, and they're asking the same questions right now. First off, did the quantum thesis break? Or was this simply Wall Street doing what it always does, which is buying the headlines and then taking profits right after? Let's break down what happened and why the sector cooled off so quickly and what investors should actually be paying attention to going forward. Again, my name is David over here at InvestQ, and I'm joined in with a special guest. If you can see right here, you will see something that is black and white, that is not a carpet, and that is not a raccoon. That is my baby sister. Her name is Joy, and she just turned 10 years old yesterday. So feel free to wish her many happy birthdays if you guys are still tuned in at this point. Now, anyways, back to the topic. Let's talk about what these executive orders actually did. The first order aims to accelerate deployment. Right here, the first order was the ushering the next frontier of quantum innovation, and what the first order aims to do is to accelerate deployment of a science-grade quantum computer of a Department of Energy facility by the year 2028. And the second order, which was named Securing the Nation Against Advanced Cryptographic Attacks, what this executive order mostly focused on was setting deadlines for federal agencies to transition critical systems to quantum-resistant encryption over the coming years. And they sped up the process by 4 years because initially the deadline was by 2035, but it's been sped up to 2031. And these are significant developments because they represent long-term federal support for quantum technologies and cybersecurity modernization. In other words, the government is not backing away from quantum, but actually it's moving further into it. And sorry guys, I thought I heard something, but when these announcements hit, investors immediately started looking for potential beneficiaries. And companies to mention are such as Inflection, D-Wave, IonQ, Riggedy, I got it right this time, Riggedy, and others saw strong buying pressure in the quantum sector. And the logic was pretty straightforward. If the federal government is committing resources toward quantum computing and quantum-resistant cybersecurity, then companies operating in those industries could eventually see larger contract opportunities and increased demand. That sparked the initial rally immediately after, once the news hit in the after-hour session of Monday. Now, here's where things get interesting, because if you look at a bunch of other stocks, you're going to see here INFQ, they're down almost 14%. Riggedy, not Riggedy, Riggedy is down almost 10%. QBTS down almost 10% as well. IonQ also down almost 8.7%. Quick reminder before we continue, if you're enjoying the content and want to connect with the community, check out the first link below for the free InvestQ community. And if you want access to advanced stock research and tools, the second link is a Prophecy 7-day trial for just $7. And last, if you want daily market updates and behind the scenes content, follow me on Instagram using the third link in the description. Now, let's get back to the video. And with all this price action that we're seeing with the dips in the whole quantum market, that's showing what investors really see is the true meaning and how they interpreted the two executive orders that Trump signed 2 days ago. So the executive orders obviously were bullish, that they were good things for quantum, but investors, they quickly realized something right after that. The deadlines that were mentioned are years out, such as 2028 and 2031. We're talking about, for quantum deployment was 2028, and 2030 plus time, specifically 2031 for post-quantum cryptography. And that means that revenue, it won't magically appear tomorrow. The government programs, they do take time, and contracts, as me and you both know, they do take time as well. And Wall Street doesn't always like waiting. So, obviously, speaking of Wall Street, what we witnessed was a classic buy the rumor and sell the news event. And traders who bought the momentum early suddenly found themselves sitting on quick gains. And instead of waiting for years for the full thesis to play out, many investors and many traders simply sold their position and sold their trade to get a quick buck. And that selling pressure, clearly it provided somewhat of a quick volatile move to the downside and somewhat of a shorter time frame intraday for somewhat of a reversal. And the underlying technology, obviously, and the underlying business didn't change, but the short-term trading behavior obviously did very shortly, which is very typical in the stock market. Nothing crazy, in my opinion. And another factor that investors need to remember is that quantum stocks, they don't trade in isolation. Many of these companies are still viewed as highly speculative growth stocks. And when technology stocks come under pressure, speculative sectors often get hit the hardest. And all of these individual companies, some are more speculative than others. Like, for example, IBM has has a much bigger market cap compared to something like D-Wave. But overall, quantum is a very speculative market. So even though the executive orders were positive, broader market weakness created additional selling pressure across many quantum names. And for me personally, nothing has really changed with my thesis regarding quantum. The technology story is still intact. The government support is still there and it's growing. The push toward quantum computing and post-quantum cybersecurity is still happening. And what matters most now is execution, which, to see which companies are actually going to get more contracts, which companies can grow their revenue, which companies can improve the fundamentals, and which companies are simply just riding the hype cycle. Those are the questions, in my opinion, that investors should be asking. And again, going over the bull versus the bear case for all of these stocks, the bullish argument is simple. The federal government just reinforced its commitment to quantum technology, creating potential long-term opportunities for companies operating in the space. And on the flip side, the bearish argument is also simple. Many quantum companies are still highly speculative, and many trade at aggressive valuations, and meaningful revenue from these initiatives could still be years away from today. So both arguments can be true at the same time, and there are valid points on both sides. So while the excitement from Trump's executive orders has cooled down over the past 48 hours, the bigger story may just be getting started. The market got ahead of itself, the stocks ran, and traders took profit. It's as simple as that. But from a technical perspective, it's as simple as that. But when you do your own due diligence looking at the underlying business and overall what's going on with the fundamentals of the company, the actual government initiatives, they still remain in place. And the question now is not whether quantum technology matters. The question is which companies will ultimately turn these long-term federal initiatives into real-world revenue and shareholder value. And as always, this is not financial advice, so I'm making that very clear, and I'm interested to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. So please let me know what it is you want to see in future upcoming videos, as I love giving the content that you want to see. And also, if you feel I added any value to your investing or trading journey, feel free to hit the like and subscribe button. And I'm going to do a close-up on the face cam because, again, I'm doing a little bit of a special outro. I want to include... Here we go. I want to include the birthday girl. So, guys, again, this is Joy. Again, she's tuning out to everyone in InvestQ. So, again, she wants you... I'm trying to use her pause point. She wants you to tune in to the live stream today at 4 o'clock. She wants you to comment below what it is you think about quantum and anything you want to see in the future. And feel free to hit the like and subscribe button. So with that being said, guys, David Figueroa and Joy, happy birthday, 10th birthday to Joy. We're out, and we'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.